Stampers, this is Dawn, and today we're going to make the trifold shutter card. This is the one we're going to make today using the Father's Day theme with the Geared Up Garage bundle. Isn't it awesome? So we're going to do some layering, so you probably can't see right off the bat. So then here's this one that I wanted to kind of highlight the layers to the card that we're going to be cutting today to give you an idea what I'm talking about. All right, so let me show you another one that I made. This one is using the brand new items from the 2019-20 annual catalog. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love that designer paper and that stamp set. It's so beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and die cut and cut out all the layers to this card just to save some time on today's video. So we're gonna set all those pieces aside here. Let me give you all the measurements of the card. So we're gonna start with the base, which is the basic black. And this piece is cut at 5.5 by 10.5. Then the next layer is the smoky slate, and this is cut at 5.25 by 10.25. And then the basic gray is cut at 5 by 10. Okay, so we're gonna cut and score all of these pieces. So let's start with the base, which is the basic black. Let me grab my trimmer. All right, so we're gonna start with the 5.5 inch side across the top, and we're gonna line up our edge right here. Then using the cutting blade, we're going to cut using this arm right here. We're going to start at 1 3/4, and then we're going to cut down to 8 3/4. So that's down to here. So 1 3/4, 8 3/4. Okay, then we're going to turn it, still keeping it on the 5.5 inch side, lining it up at 1 1/4. Do the exact same thing. We're going to cut starting at 1 3/4 down to 8 3/4. Okay, now we're going to turn it on the 10.5 inch side. Now we're going to score. Let me grab my bone folder. So now we're going to start lining it up at 1 3/4. This should be right where your cut lines had started. Okay, so 1 3/4. And we're going to score only between the cut lines. So 1 3/4 between the cut lines. Then 3.5, we're going to score the whole piece. Then we're going to move it down to 7 inch. And we're going to score the whole piece. Then the last score line is at 8 3/4. And we're going to score only between the score lines. Okay, so hopefully the camera shows those score lines. So now how we're going to fold the card is we're going to fold this side right here up, and then the center line down, and then your outside score lines are going to go up. It's going to naturally want to go that way, just like that. Okay, so when your card folds up, it will look like this. Let me burnish these edges here so you can see that. Okay, so then this is how it's going to look from the top view here. Let me move the trimmer really quick. So this is how the card sets up. And then when you fold it up, it's going to look like that. It's going to fit into a regular size envelope. Okay? All right, now let's cut our layers. Let's grab our trimmer again. Okay, so we're going to start with the smoky slate piece. Now this piece is cut at 5.25 by 10.25. And this time we're going to line it up at 1 inch on your edge right here, 1 inch. And then we're going to cut starting at, I just don't want that to move here. Okay, so 1 inch, we're going to start cutting at 1.5, and then we're going to cut down to 8 3/4 again. So 1.5 down to 8 3/4. So we're going to turn it and do the exact same thing. So 1 inch, cutting starting at 1.5 down to 8 3/4. Then we're going to turn it on the 10.25 inch side. We're going to line this up at 1.5 on this edge right here, 1.5. Now we're going to cut from 1 inch down to 4.25, and that also should be the cut line. So you're going to connect the cut lines. So 1 down to 4.25, and you should feel that give when it cuts. And if you don't, you can just grab your scissors, which I'm going to do here really quick, and just connect those lines. Okay, then we're going to turn it on the opposite end and do the exact same thing. So we're going to line it up at 1.5. cutting from 1 inch down to 4 1/4. So that one cut, I felt that go through. Okay, so now this is gonna be your layer, at least your first layer, your middle layer. And now we're going to take our 10 1/4 inch piece. Now we're gonna cut these in sections of 3 1/4. So the first cut is gonna be 3 1/4. And you wanna make sure you're holding this section really stable so when you cut it, it's not moving. When you make this card, you'll know what I mean. So 3 1/4. And then we're going to slide this down to 3 1/4. Once again, you want to make sure you're holding that stable. 3 1/4. Now these are the pieces you're going to keep for layering. Then I'm going to turn this way so the larger section right here is on the 3 1/4 inch side, because this is a little bit tad long for that. So 3 1/4, 3 1/4. Okay, so these are the pieces for your layers. So we're going to set those aside. Now we're going to grab the basic gray piece. And remember, this piece is cut at 5 by 10 now. Making sure that's cut at 5, yep. All right, so now we're going to line this section up at 3/4. And we're going to cut using the cutting arm. Just want to make sure that stays on 3/4. So we're going to cut starting at 1 1/4. Right there, and we're going to cut down to 8 1/2. So 1 1/4 down to 8 1/2, and once again we're going to turn it and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So 3/4, starting at 1 1/4 down to 8 1/2. Okay, now we're going to connect our dots here, or cut lines actually. And then we're going to line this up at 1 1/4. And this time you're going to cut at 3/4 down to 4 1/4. And you should feel that cut give. Hopefully that one did. Nope, we got to cut that on the end. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, but a pair of scissors will be handy for you when you're making this card. Okay. So now we're going to turn it on the opposite end and do the exact same thing. So we're going to line this up at 1 1/4. Remember this line, 1 1/4, and then we're going to cut from 3/4 down to 4 1/4. So now we're going to cut this in sections of 3 inches. So we're going to take our 10-inch side across the top and line this up at 3 right here. And once again, you're going to hold this side really stable so you can cut that 3 inches and 3 inches. And slide it down to 3 inches. I'm going to turn it and cut this side at 3 inches. So now these are our layers and these are extra. All right, so let's go ahead and move our trimmer. So I forgot to mention, now you're gonna need 2 pieces cut for this center section right here, which on my finished card you can see is the Happy Father's Day right here, okay? So the smoky slate piece, this is cut at 2 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then the Whisper White piece is cut at 2 1/2 by 3. Okay, so that's gonna be right in the center of the card. All right, now let's grab some adhesive. We're going to put our layers together. Okay, so now you can see the layers coming together. This is going to be the basic gray over top of the smoky slate, just like that. Okay, and then this piece is going to go onto the basic black over here. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to go ahead and do all the other layering. These 2 pieces are going to get layered together, and they're going to go right here and right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do all the layering. Okay, so there's all the layers to our trifold shutter card. All right, now we're just going to put our centerpiece in. All right, now it's just a matter of decorating the cards. Let me grab all those layers. All right, so the Father's Day is going to go in the center piece right here. And then I have some gears. Now the gears I cut out, let me show you the stamp set and the framelit. This is the Garage Gears Thinlits, and this is available in a bundle with the Geared Up Garage stamp set. You can get this until June 3rd, and then the bundle price is expiring on June 3rd. Will be the last day to get this. These items are carrying over to the new annual catalog, but the bundle price will not be carrying over. So I cut out the gears with the foil sheet, and I'm just going to put the gears, let me see here, I'm going to put this gear up here. So I want to make sure I'm only putting adhesive on this top section right here. So just going to kind of hang that over the edge, just like that. Okay, then the card is going to also sit down here on the edge. So I only want to make sure I put adhesive on the front and the bottom edge. Okay, awesome. All right, and then another set of gears, which this was the whole set of the collection of the gears. I just cut it in half so I could put this section down here. Now this is kind of tricky. You want to make sure that you can close the card. It will fit on here. You just got to play around with it a little bit. I think I'm going to put it on like this. Yep, that's the way I want to put it on. So we're going to put this on right here. And of course you can do a test run to make sure the card folds up, which it does. All right, and then another gear up here in the top right corner. Okay, then the Your Classic is going to get put right up here. And then this one, it says all geared up to celebrate. That's going to go on the bottom section. And there's the card. Now the only thing that I did add to the finished card, to this one, was the Geared Up Garage metal elements, which is the wrench and the car key. So you can just add that little extra element to the card if you wanted to do that. Isn't that card awesome? Oh my gosh. Love this trifold card. So amazing. I must have cut out some extra gears, so you can actually put another gear here if you wanted, or on the car, wherever. So cute. All right, so let me show you the other one using brand new products from the annual catalog that's coming up on June 4th. Isn't that beautiful? So I used the Crumb Cake and the Whisper White with the designer paper for this one. All right, so if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll have all the items listed below. And then don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you later. Bye.